we're going to be listening to RBT and reacting to TikToks about ABA. I think these are all like staff.
Okay.
So we're just going to start and see what happens. You can watch our faces and see what we have to say. It may be nothing. It may be awesome. So I'm going to share my screen and then we will we'll get into it. Alrighty.
Oh goodness.
So that's the last one, I think. All right. So are you ready?
Hi. So this is the day of the life of a 24-year-old RBT located in Charlotte, North Carolina. Part 3. I just got some bad news, you guys. So this is some real stuff that happens as a RBT. I know fellow RBTs feel my pain. One of my clients decided they don't want no more services. So we were able to work out a deal like with my BCBA about like when are we gonna like just cut off services, and his renewal was about to come up in March anyway, so it's gonna be March 7th. It's gonna be my last day with him, and I'm really sad because I love him. Like, it's so sad when you have to end services and like there was no reason why or anything. And yeah, that's a downside. like immediately I was sad, but then I also was like, well, how am I going to make money? Because this client I see for 25 hours and I only work 41 hours a week. So 25 hours, that's a lot of money. That's just I'm not going to get. But luckily my BCBA was able to find someone, so I would just transition to that new person once I end services with my morning client, y'all, because it's so hard to find a morning client as an RBT from my experience, because I've been an RBT for a year and a half, and it's like when you lose your morning client, especially during school time, you want to keep that steady. You do not want to lose that because it's so hard, because most kids are in school, so and a lot of schools don't allow us in unless it's like a private school or something like that. And that's what I'm dealing with today. Like, I was so distraught.
All right. So that's that one.
Yeah, that stinks. I'm glad that she was able to get a replacement.
Feels good. Yeah.
And I know she said for no reason, and maybe there is no reason, because sometimes that just happens for no reason that we know of, or maybe it just wasn't.
Maybe it wasn't the right fit.
Or I'm just saying, like, maybe it wasn't like communicated to her.
You're right. Yeah, it's hard to decide.
But yeah, I'm glad she got another morning client, because I feel her pain. Like going a 25-hour morning client.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you're sad.
That's 5 hours a day.
You're sad because that's a lot of time she's been spending with that kid. So of course she's sad, right?
Yeah.
But then also, like, where am I getting my money from?
Yeah.
Like, how am I getting paid?
Yeah, and that's kind of
a morning case. Yeah,
that's kind of normal RBT stuff. Yeah. Okay, so the next one.
If you're an RBT or you're trying to be an RBT, listen to this. First of all, good morning. I am on my way to work. Being an RBT is not an easy job. If you already are one, you know. There's days that I wake up and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to go. I think it's a field that gets you mentally drained because of all the data and all the behaviors. So you can get burnt out easily. But what makes me get up every morning? You guys, we are changing these kids' lives. And we're not only changing these kids' lives, we are changing their parents' lives. So you know that saying, like, I wish I could change the world. You are changing it. By doing this, you are changing so many people's lives. And this is what motivates me to get up. The fact that I know that these kids will one day have a regular life, just like us, drive cars, go to high school, even talk, and be fully independent. For the parents to go out in a social setting, to be able to go to birthday parties and dinners with their kids, it's like, this is what we're here for. So every time that I don't want to go to work, I always remember, like, we are changing the world by doing this. I may not stay in RBT forever, but the little time or the time that I'm going to stay here, I do want to help these kids out. So that's like my biggest motivation. When my clients learn something new, like, nothing makes me happier. Nothing makes me happier to see them grow. But I have seen a lot of people work in this field because of a paycheck. But that's another story for another day. What I want to say is that I didn't take this job serious before. And I don't mean it as in like I wasn't working with my client or teaching them anything. I mean it as in like I will go to sleep at whatever time I wanted. I will wake up at whatever time I wanted, and then I'll just go to work fully exhausted, sometimes mentally drained already from work, plus other things. And then I'll just show up and half-ass, my job. There's days that I didn't, but there's days that I did. And I'm honest. To be an RBT or to be in this field, if you know this is mentally draining, you need to take care of yourself first before you take care of others. You guys heard that saying. Well, it's true. If I know that I have to come to work, I am not fooling around at night. I have a bedtime. I'm not going out. I'm not staying up watching TV. I know there's some times that I may do it, but it's very rare. I like to wake up and get my morning routine going and have that energy that they deserve to get. These clients deserve 100% of you. So self-care is important for you, because if you're good, then your client is going to be good as well. So take care of yourself and go be a killer RBT. All right. Bye, guys.
Love you. All right. Come on our podcast.
Yeah, no, that was a good one. That was good. I mean,
I think that's just a really super important point that she gave is take care of yourself, take your job serious. Like, I don't care, honestly, like the way I feel is I don't care what job you have. I feel like if you have like, you're taking care of yourself, that's important. On my private social media, I'm like posting all about taking time, doing things for yourself and mental health. And so I think that's super important. But yes, if you're in a helper field, especially RBT position, it's really challenging. It's so important to take care of yourself and to be able to show up and just really for your quality of life. But
yeah, I think the passion, shows up like this job is hard and challenging, but man, it's so it's full of purpose, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I'm glad that she enjoys doing the work, and
I loved her outlook on everything. Yeah. Like, she's not only helping the child, but the family, and they get like really pointing out the positives that everyone.
And this is who we want working for us, right? Is someone that can understand it's challenging, but the meaning and what this means for the families and the kids that they work with. So that's awesome. So that's like 2 in a row positive. I'm getting scared. All right, I'm getting scared. Okay. All right, so this is number 3. So it's a really short one. So it's when you work as an RBT and the AC breaks, so everyone is miserable except management because the AC works in their office.
Oh no!
And let's go back and
everyone was covered in sweat.
Hold on.
I think this is just when we might have to choose.
Everyone is covered in sweat, gagging. The poor kids were crying while the BCBA sat in the AC complaining about the RBTs complaining. We even still ran circle time. Why wouldn't they close the clinic? I want to uplift kids, not oppress them.
Oh, so I know I laughed at the beginning of this.
So you take the kids to the gym so they don't cry from it being so hot.
So I know I laughed at the beginning of this, but it got real as it was going through. And honestly, so one of our first things is to take care of physical needs first. And our job is to teach, really. I mean, we're providing services, but majority of our services we're teaching, right? And if someone is miserable, if they're sick or hot, if they're sick or they're hot, like severely hot, like that, then there's not the optimum opportunity for learning. It really isn't. That's a hard one. I know for in-home services for our clients, we would have, when we were in the South and it would get hot. Even Virginia, I mean, Virginia's considered the South, but like it would get hot too. And we had to cancel sessions if like the inside of a home was above a certain degree, because we need for our, not only to provide a safe work environment for our staff, but you know, like we need optimum learning environment for the kids.
It's difficult to have sessions when it's 81-ish, I guess.
Inside.
Yeah. All right. So this one I'm not sure about. We'll see.
I view manhandling a child, physically restricting their movement or blocking them to keep them in an instructional area under the guise of gaining instructional control or teaching them the expectations, as a direct indication of what that interventionist's clinical skill set is. The most obvious being that their clinical values and their skill set is not aligned with a trauma-informed, neurodiversity affirming model. An emphasis and prioritization of compliance over cooperation. And beyond that, it tells me a lot about their lack of understanding of learner motivation and a deeper understanding of the principles of reinforcement. It is a lot more difficult to earn that kid to the table and earn their attention during your activity and your lesson. But that's what we need to be doing. That's where we make long-lasting, more meaningful gains.
I agree to a lot of that. There, of course, like we're just seeing little short snippets, but I do agree that in most situations, we should not be manhandling kids back to the table. There are a lot of strategies that we use to motivate them and to help them come to the table. And is it necessary that they have to come to the table? Or are there other ways we can do it? We don't know what age group this is. We don't know what the demands are that's being placed on them. But it definitely, it's worth a conversation.
Yeah, I guess my question would be like, if you're manhandling kids to anywhere, that's definitely meaningful, right? Like that is going to make a lasting impression. I don't know it's the one that you want to make.
No.
Right? No. So, I mean, well,
and there should be a plan in place, too. Right. So, like, if you're tech and you're, like, having to I think we read in the first one, we read someone saying they had to drag the 2-year-old to the next room or something. I can't remember exactly. That, yes, yeah. But if it's, like, the daily manhandling shouldn't be like the norm. There might be a day or two where something like that pops up, and then you need to talk to the BCBA. The BCBA needs to help support the tech, and you need to come up with a plan on how to handle it, because that's not the plan.
Right.
The plan shouldn't be manhandling the kid.
Yeah, I agree.